Welcome to another episode of Eat Smoke Drink. Today we have two heavy hitters. Today we have the Teaninich 32-year-old and 34-year-old. Like I said, heavy hitters. But here's the crazy thing about this, right? The 32-year-old is 50.8% and the 34-year-old is 44%. These are cask strength, non-chill filtered, non-colored. We're not savages, okay? So we don't drink that crap. So look at the difference in color. I know it's not a huge difference, but the younger one is a darker one. How interesting is that? I love doing side-by-sides like this. In the past, I used to do one bottle, and then side-by-side. I don't want to waste your time with that kind of content. Let's just do it right now, side-by-side. The reason why I want to do it side-by-side is because let's decide which one's better, younger or older. These are two heavy hitters, but it doesn't matter. One of them is going to be better than the other, and let's find out, is it the younger one or the older one, and why. So let's nose the 32, and this is the 34. Teaninich is quite an old-fashioned distillery. It is actually the heart malt, apparently the heart malt of Johnnie Walker Red. So you take Johnnie Walker Red and you times the age by 10 or 11, then you get these bottles. I get a sooty candle fire smell on the 32, a drying effect on the nose, quite floral. Some dried fruit. Actually, scratch that. I'm getting strawberry jam on this one, which is quite unusual. I'm getting a distinct minerality, a slight metallic smell to it. Now, I'm not quite sure what cask these are. I don't really care, but I'm definitely getting a strong vanilla and sickly coconut in that. I'd hazard a guess that it is a bourbon influence, bourbon cask, shall I say. That's absolutely delicious. To be honest, the smell is relatively narrow. It's sweet, sugary. A hint of maple, but it's really just quite sugary. Nothing too out there or audacious. The wood influence is quite prominent in that. The more I nose it, I'm getting a little bit of spice, maybe a little bit of black pepper, and I'm getting a little bit of licorice in there as well. Very, very, very fine hint of it. Let's nose the other one. So this is the 50.8, this is the 44. Wow, distinctly different nose. This is much, much more subdued. The 34 is very savory. It shares the same kind of base level smell, but very savory, not as sweet, very herbal, almost like a ginseng. Is it ginseng or ginseng? Anyway, almost like a ginseng or ginseng. Burnt sugar, much smokier. That's just crazy. Same distillery, single barrel, 2 years apart. That's insane. A little bit of honey, burnt butter, the 34, the burnt butter, definitely more savory. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Alright, let's try them. Whoa. It's a very different dram. I love Teaninich, especially the older evolutions of, the older iterations of Teaninich. They're just so different. They're just so different. I'm getting green apple, a bright green apple, followed quickly by toffee, a buttery fudge. Then, like a slight burn to the end, like an imbalanced menthol. And that's not a bad thing. When I say imbalance, it's not a bad thing. And then it lingers on your palate. It's just, this is when you have very old whiskey. It's a very different ball game. I can't tell you it's better than others or not. It's not about being better. Yes, for the most part it is better, but when you have very old whiskey, 3 decades old, you just get all sorts of fucked up flavors. Like, it's just completely different that you just wouldn't get in normal circumstances. And that's just... getting like a terracotta smell. It's bizarre. I'm getting like an earthy terracotta smell to it, like a clay. But it's yeah, it's quite a bright flavor. And I know this sounds really strange, but right in the back palate, I'm getting like an artificial grape flavor, like a grape chewing gum. It sounds bizarre, but I'm getting this strange grape flavor in the, like, you know, like an artificial grape flavor, like Hubba Bubba, you know, those tape chewing gums you have as a child and you try to fit in your mouth, like, you know, that's what I used to do. Because I'm a pig. Absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. Yeah, I mean, it's just got an unusual flavor to it. I wouldn't say saline at all, but it has a weird funk to it. Dusty, slightly leathery, like an old wet leather. Very compelling whiskey. Let's try the 34-year-old. There's flying bugs everywhere. They're so different. 2 years apart, 6% difference in ABV. So savory. So savory, the 34. Like a plasticine aftertaste. Cured meat. I'm talking prosciutto, not smoky. Hint of smoke, but more prosciutto. Quite meaty. Got a plasticine aftertaste. Quite herbal. I'm trying to figure out what herb I'm tasting there. Can't put my finger on it. I mean, the ABV is obviously more subdued and definitely tastes that way. It's got a funk to it, like a decomposing wood funk. Leaf litter, wet earth. Dried apricot, a little bit of lemon. That is absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. But now time to pick a winner. The finish in both is spectacular. The 32, the finish is a little bit better. The ABV probably does that. The taste is polar opposites. This is sweeter, more fruit. This is more savory. Absolutely stunning drams. You can't even you can't even tell they're both the same distillery. This is what I love about single barrels. 2 years apart. Dramatic difference in flavor. If I was to pick a winner, I'd pick the 32. It's a little bit more vibrant in flavor. It hits you in the face more so than the 34. But the 34 is strange as. Absolutely excellent, both of them. I'd say a very close, a very tight margin first place, a 32. and then the 34. I think the 34, to be frank, it's a little bit past its life. Maybe they should have pulled it a year before, my personal opinion, a year before. Maybe would have had another % or 2 of alcohol, but hey, look, I can't fault Adelphi. I'm not an expert when it comes to blending or when it comes to bottling, but all I can say is my taste. I think that the 34 should have been pulled a year beforehand just to give it a bit more alcohol. The 32 is phenomenal, almost a perfect whiskey, fantastic. And it's also on the sweeter side, which is more my palate. Cigar pairings, these two are ballsy enough to handle that. These two are Arnold Schwarzenegger ballsy. These can handle pretty much any cigar you can throw at them. By any means, they're not soft whiskeys at all. So until next time, thank you very much for joining me today. What is the oldest Teaninich that you've ever tried? Let me know what you thought. I've never tried the distillery bottlings, which is quite an unusual one. It's hard to find. I think recently they've released quite an old bottling, but look, I've never tried them. I've always had them with either Karin Head or Adelphi, and as soon as I see Teaninich come out, I buy them straight away because I'm curious to see what they taste like. Anyway, let me know. Until next time, eat, smoke, drink, and see you again. Cheers.